what do you think would be a healthy way or like a healthy mindset to have stepping into the future? What should we try to leave behind?
It's like, we, in the end, each of us is like a be as healthy as we can. And I think that just from being as healthy as we can, mentally and physically, we can provide some contribution that we don't even know what contribution might be because it's in the future. But I think that all we can do for now is really try to be as healthy and informed as we can, right? And and live life. It's not easy, My life is not easy, for instance, but I think that it is that needs to be done, and it's simple. In the end, it's simple. What needs to be done is simple and makes sense. Being healthy, being informed, having care towards what we do, uh, paying attention to things, and try to have meaning in life. I think if everyone was able to do that a bit better, I think that the world or a society or a street would improve. Um, uh, might be a bit off topic, but what else can we do? I think we cannot do.
I think that's a very
it's really the
beautiful take.
base.
Yeah, I'm just a bit more pessimistic maybe about it. I don't know if we get there in time then.
Eventually, you will not, because you need to see the sun one day will explode. So we are doomed anyway, right? We are doomed anyway.
Mhm.
But while we are here, right? I don't even know if tomorrow we are alive. This is the truth. But while we are here and while we wake up, I think that do the best we can in a nice way, with style. Let's say, we know what it is to have style. Is the best we can do, and then see. Maybe we'll be surprised. Let's then see what comes out of that attitude, of that practice, right? Of paying attention to people, listen to people. Uh, um, but we have that feeling of despair, and the question is, do you want to be there? What this feeling of despair is going to bring you? Right? Will bring you nothing, I think.
No.
Right? So what can really be done? I need to live my life. You have to live the life the best you can, independently of how the systems are working. So I think that I increase the probability of success, even of the system, if I control my behavior in a nice way. You see, just focus on my behavior. Eventually, I will touch other people. Other people will recognize that this eventually is a good thing. You need to go and see. Okay, in the middle of all this jungle, and all of this despair, what can I do?
Yeah.
What is the best? And I want to do the best. If I want to do the best, what is the best? And I think the best starts from the very basics in me. That's what I mean. That's it.
But I also think.
But I'm with you. No, I was saying that I'm with Benji. Yeah? I'm also super negative about the systems.
Yeah,
Not going to lie.
I think we're in a position of so much luxury that we're negative about everything, while or I don't know where you live, but in Belgium especially, everything is done for us. We have everything, and still people are being super negative about everything. And sometimes I feel like it's because we never had real shit in our life. We never had something that went really bad. So people are just trying to find ways to be negative, and I'm like, we should be so fucking grateful that we can do anything we want in our life. We have we relatively have peace. I know there's war and there's very shitty situations in the world, and we should be so fucking grateful that we have everything we want. And sometimes I feel like for the people that are being super negative and being super oh, the system sucks, I'm like, yeah, but look at your life. How much does the system suck? Okay, it might not be very future proof, but still, you have the best life any human has ever lived in the history of mankind. Except for the 0.00 and so forth %. Now, sometimes it's so easy to be negative and so it sometimes it takes a little bit more effort to see everything that is going well, because for a big society, and I'm not preaching that we have the best society or that everything is so good and that all the systems are perfect, but the job of the society is to lead the rivers of all these people in their boats, just saying like, oh, I follow, to lead the river while nobody is complaining, while everybody just follows, to lead it to a point which is productive and which is a good thing. And I think that's more difficult than a lot of people think, and there's a lot more that comes to play with it. And so I'm very grateful that they are able to steer this big blob of people that don't really that just follow and are not entrepreneurs, are not doers, are just followers, to still have a very functional group of people. Because okay, if you're working with 50 people, it's easy to manage, but if you're working with millions, I couldn't do it. So I don't know.
I think that it needs to be messy, needs to be messy. There is no other way around. The question is, it will be more or less messy. You see what I mean? So, because it will never be perfect. No way. There is no perfect, even because what is perfect, we don't know. So, and I agree, like I'm Portuguese and I live in Belgium for many years. And I know two realities. And in Portugal, I struggled much more materialistically, like my salary was much lower, and so on and so forth. And it made me run more, like made me have more drive, to be sincere with you. Now in Belgium, I have a better pay slip, a better salary, and I accommodated to have some comforts that, in fact, I didn't have in Portugal. And sometimes I'm getting lazy. It's true.
Yeah.
I'm becoming lazy, and I'm aware of that. Sometimes I try to fight it with sports, but yes, it's true that sometimes life, if it's too easy in a materialistic way, sometimes you need to struggle. To really, I don't know, focus or understand what is really important. I think is this. If you struggle, in a situation of struggling, we end up to identify what is really important, what is really needed, the basis, what needs to be there, what cannot fail. And in Belgium, I'm becoming a bit lazy, but also is a good thing, because I think that humans should also have the right to be lazy. We cannot always be in struggle. So a balance is good. A balance is good.
I wanted to pick up on your point before, that you think a lot of Belgian people are too negative about their situation.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is? Is that because there is maybe not enough perspective for the future, or that people realize that they're having a good life?
There are so many factors. It's a good question, Benji. There are so many factors. The other day, I was also thinking about that, and I went to a graph to see. You can even search that on the web. In Belgium, the peaks of depression. When the peaks of depression happen, and you know what? It correlates with weather. Go check official sources. When in October, November, when the weather begins to be bad, people begins to be more negative. It's true. And as it arrives March, the levels of depression and depression decrease, optimism increase, and so on and so forth. So sometimes it's simple variables such as the weather. This is crazy, but the data is there out there for you to check. Check depression in Belgium and check by timelines.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
But
So there are so many variables. I think one is that. The other is lack of space. In Belgium, you don't have much space. Humans need space, needs green space. Other thing is, I think in Belgium, it is not a critic. Cultures of avoidance and cultures of contact. Cultures of the voice, and it happens. There are many reasons also why these cultures develop in that way. We don't even know. But cultures of avoidance, maybe because there are too many people start to avoid each other. And that's not good, because humans need contact. We are brainwired to contact with each other and to touch each other, right? You need to take care how you touch, of course. But we are made for that, and I think that, for instance, compared with Portugal, here you avoid more people. There is more a culture of avoidance and distance, and I think that that might contribute a bit for that, for
Also
a
a lot
feeling
of
of
like judging stuff.
being isolated, and this might be. I think is the weather, these dynamics in the culture, and
Yeah.
and lack of space, perhaps. Belgium is highly density, has a high population density. Don't forget
I
that.
think this will
also.
get better in the future, then, no? For remote work and just the
Yeah,
way
I
that
think so.
societies are evolving. Do you think both
Things
people?
are changing. Things are changing.
Do you think people will emigrate from Belgium more, or how do you see that in the future?
I see a trend in that. I see a trend that whenever possible, people want more sun. At least in terms of sun. I'm speaking about weather. Um, for instance, now I will be able to work in Portugal for 2 months.
Yeah,
Something in the past was not possible, but now I can do it remotely.
I
Um,
think that will be
so
a
it's
big
good.
change, and maybe also with the virtual work environments, like what's Microsoft is or Meta is making. I think, yeah, this will
I
be.
hope that we don't go that way. These are I think these are dangerous ways, this meta stuff. And in the end, these guys, what they want is to control us more and more, is what I think. You know,
But it also
I
gives the liberty to work from other spaces. Other spaces, no?
yeah, but I can already. So do I need to go deeper? You know, it's like Robert Musil is one of my favorite writers. The guy say progress is great. Progress would be great, but only if it stops.
But that's not
You
how
know what
humans
it
are.
means? Is that
We are.
you achieve a level of progress, but then it's optimal, but people are not happy and they want to keep going. And they spoil the progress. You know what I mean?
People want to progress. People want to evolve and optimize and get better at stuff doing. Um, I don't see a point where
Yeah,
people
but
are.
the
This is enough.
technology. Yeah, but for instance, the games. I don't know if you go into video games.
Yeah, we play a lot of video games.
Nowadays we have games with more better graphics and they are better in everything. But my question is, do they bring you more pleasure and the mechanisms are better than the ones 10 years ago?
I find it
I don't,
difficult to say because we are also older. Like
Yeah.
maybe the younger people enjoy it more as we did in the day. You know.
yeah. But so in the end, it's not the game, it's our experience towards the game. And it doesn't matter if you have much more progress. So what I'm saying is that from the moment that you achieve a threshold of comfort, a threshold that is good enough, what you are putting on top of that, people keep saying that is progress. It might not be, you know. It might be layers of something, but not necessarily progress. Um, you know what I mean? So I think that is just business driving, not it's just the need of business that is driving change. That change does not necessarily correlate with serious progress, in the sense that progress is something that brings advantage, serious advantage in our life. You know what I mean? So,
That's an interesting concept.
so yeah, we have to think about what is this progress. We say progress, but what is it? You know, um, you know. So when is it good enough? Because everything is a price, right? So then you will have to pay for that progress that we call progress. But are we really sure that we need to pay that price, or that thing 5 years ago was good enough and I was super happy? You know?
I just don't see it slowing down or reversing in
It
that
will not slow
sense.
down because this is economical driven.
Yeah,
This is capitalism, and this might be this why there are some critics on capitalism. I think capitalism achieved great things, but again, everything can go wrong, and everything is being driven by business, right? And so business needs to sell. Even if your car is good, they will have to sell cars next year anyway. So they'll have to press some things, you know. They will have to lobby, for instance, these less zones. These less zones are, you know, is to sell cars. You know, okay, it's also to decrease pollution somehow, but it's to sell
The
cars.
mission zones, you mean?
The less zones,
Yeah,
low
yeah,
emission zones, yeah.
yeah.
It's
So
to
you
sell
think it's
cars,
like
you know.
lobbied by
Because,
auto companies to be able to sell more
for
different?
sure, absolutely. Because if you have a Ferrari from last year that is super pollutes a lot, you can enter the less zone. Doesn't matter, right? So what is driving is the year of the car, not
Is that a
the
bad thing if
CO2
it
that is made.
also
Okay,
contributes towards a good thing?
excuse me, Reggie, I could not hear.
Is that a? I find it difficult to see that bad as a bad thing because it also contributes towards a good thing. And sometimes you have to take a bad thing to be able to work towards something good.
Yeah, I understand. It's not totally wrong, but good was to close the streets to cars, for instance. But they don't have courage for that. Right?
Yeah, it's
In some
difficult. Yeah.
cities of developed countries, actually, they do. Okay, you want really to make it green? Close the cities to cars. Be brave, you know.
That's like practically not possible, I think, right? Are they people want to
Oh,
move, people want to get
everything is
groceries?
just. People just, you know, it would not be practical to stop 2 years, the world for 2 years, and we stopped the world for 2 years in the pandemic, and we are still here,
It's true.
right? It's true.
But
So
it had a lot of impact, you know? It's not like we are the same as before. I think
yeah,
COVID was a real changing
yeah,
point for
okay,
a lot of
that's
people
absolutely true.
to
That is
start
absolutely true.
looking at how
Yeah,
their
I agree.
situation
I
is.
agree.
And
We are not the same. We are not the same. But I'm not speaking. This is really drastic. If you want to close 10 streets in a city, it's not that drastic as stop the world for 2 years.
no,
And
definitely not.
so I'm sure that it will be possible, and people are not going to kill themselves.
But I don't think closing 10th Street is gonna cut it for Antwerp or so.
No, no, but I'm just
Yeah, you're
I'm
making an
just speaking
example. I know.
aloud. It's just an example,
I'm
of
just
course.
saying the scale. Like this is my pessimistic talking. Like the scale that we need to change is out of perception of what we can achieve in the near future. I think
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
reach.
but again, everything starts with ideas, and everything starts by changes in little things. Like sometimes you think that things are impossible, and then you do it, and hey, it was not impossible. It
No,
was
I
possible.
don't think it's impossible. I think it's more than just doing this thing. I think we need a lot of good things to happen at the same time to be able to achieve that. And
Absolutely, absolutely.
I feel like not enough people are aware of that. People are content with their life. People are just surviving, getting through the horrible winter months, and people
It's
are
true.
giving up on dreams and hope for the future. Like I am. Like this is giving me hope, but until now,
But
I was pretty. I'm pretty somber, or like, how do you say it? Pretty
yeah,
pessimistic in life.
but I'm going. I don't know who is listening to this, but I'm going to tell you a story a bit personal, and I think this is really serious what I'm going to tell you. So I had some crisis, existential crisis, and I went like 2 years ago on pilgrimage and stuff. And I was a bit like you, like also very pessimistic because I'm a very rational person. And indeed, I agree with you. If we think in systems, other things are, we have reasons to be negative. And I was in that state, perhaps even worse because I'm older and by other reasons. I went on pilgrimage really to do some deep work, you know, to clean up yourself. And there was something that was very clear to me, and I want to share with you during this pilgrimage, is that it doesn't matter the state of the world. The life was given to you, and you have a responsibility to do the best you can, you know, with your life. You know what I mean? And here you need to be a bit egoistic, and not egoistic in a bad way. egoistic in the sense that you have a mission in this world. You are here, God or whatever you want to call it, nature makes you wake up every day in the morning, right? And so you have a responsibility because you wake up. The responsibility is to do the best you can do for yourself. And this was something that on the way it felt upon me as an essential truth. And I think that it is. It is an essential truth, right?
No, I agree with
Uh,
that.
independently of what is going on, and we don't have, because what is going on we don't know. People are just now dying in wars by they don't have food. We don't know because we don't see. We just see 1%, or we think that we see. And we enter in despair with that 1% that we can see. But independently of that, we have a responsibility. You know what I mean? Uh, so, yeah, I think it's this. You know,
No,
we have
I
a
think too, but
responsibility to do the
yeah,
best we can.
I
You know?
think there needs to be like some kind of trend or hype that changes people's way of looking at life. But it's sometimes it feels like you're fighting alone in a battle that everybody's just giving up upon.
Well, I don't know if it's giving up on some people. Just like I said, like and just like you said. I mean, like some people are just like drifting on the boat and enjoying their life and just like and I think it's in a way it's the same and in a way it's like totally different than what you just said, Hugo. Is like some people are like, okay, hey, we get this life, but then you can see like, okay, we have this innate purpose and this blessing, and we have to make the best out of each day. And then on the other hand, it's like, so
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
life is a fluke. There's no other reason to live it than just enjoy and do some fun stuff, and just like tomorrow you could be dead, so why not just do whatever you want, and you know, like just live life. And that's like the two ways in which like one is very selfless and one is very selfish, but like the balance between these
Yeah.
two, just like appreciating like life is very like I don't know, like a thing that has been
Yeah.
granted, and you just have to make the best out of it. Except for like, and
Yeah.
that opposes a bit the opinion I think that you might have, Bash, is that um you think that like, okay, we have to like life is not fun, we have to strive for like progression, and people are not listening, come on guys, we have to do like trying to get a group of drunk friends to achieve something. No, come on guys, we have to walk there, and I'm like, I don't care, I'll just sit here. Like it's nice that you want to like progress everything, and I'm not saying that the way to go is just to do nothing, but sometimes people are just like, yeah, well, that's your battle, and I'm just gonna float in my river and enjoy the ride until I'm not there anymore. No, like these are, I don't know,
Yeah.
so some different takes about
To
it.
clarify, I'm not totally that's
I know, I was just,
driven. Like I've
yeah,
floated on the river for 15 conscious years, so
yeah.
I've definitely had my portion of enjoying life in that sense.
I don't think you should feel bad about it. Just like finding a balance which you are yourself comfortable with.
Yeah,
Mm.
I just yeah. I
You
I'm
know,
not over the
yeah.
pessimistic mindset yet. I think I need to read more and expand my mind a bit more before I can fully grasp what's the possibilities are for us. Because at this point,
Yeah.
I feel like not enough people are willing to put in the work and the effort towards a greater
Yeah, I don't know.
future.
Maybe you should like try to. I you should do nothing. But what helps for me is um instead of instead of trying to look forward a lot, like, oh, we're not building enough for the goal. Just like look at the now and at today. Like what, like how am I feeling up today, and
Yeah.
having less of that
Yeah.
this long term battle.
In the end, we don't have nothing to do with others. We are responsible for our actions, and if the others are doing X, we don't have to do X. We can do Z, right? In the end, the responsibility for our life is in us. So, but I think that Benji is very sensitive and is extremely clever. And when that happens, you can see more things. And because you see more things and you think a lot about those things, um, the darkness increases, right? But then if you are so clever, you can also need to use rationality to fight that thing and say, yeah, but that's not clever at all if I allow darkness to build up on me. Right?
Yeah,
So
it's like a bit of the way of the Buddhist, or it's like it's instead of like building up everything and like growing up, just like I don't know, have zero anything, just live, you know, like nothing else, like I don't know.
I think what you
like
said,
Albert,
Hugo, is very
yeah,
true about the rationalizing, but I do not see it in the way that it's like you have to be that clever or something for it. I think a lot of people do it in society now, that people over rationalize the actions that they could do and only see the negative
yeah,
of what they cannot achieve, because it's like one speck in a sea of ocean. Like you're doing one thing and you can rationalize it from, okay, I'm doing this one thing, but the guy next to me is not doing it, so it will not have a netto effect in the end, so why am I still doing something?
yeah.
And I think a lot of
Because
young people struggle with this idea.
yeah, it's true, and even older people like me, I also suffer from the same problem. Yet, but like Alberto Camus, the French philosopher, said, life is absurd. In the end, you don't really know what is the meaning, the ultimate meaning of life. It's absurd, you know. So in this absurdity, you have to live it the best you can through your values, you know. And here comes one thing that is called courage, you know.
I
In
think
the
that's a
end,
good, yeah.
in this
That's
absurdity, in this madness,
I think we
decision needs
all
to be made.
lose the courage at some point, and
Yeah,
it's
it's true.
important
It's
to
true.
not
But
overthink
we
it.
also have the ability to renovate it, huh? And you know that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that's what we're doing now, I think. Yeah, but the
Yeah.
when you like, it's so easy to lose that courage and to let other actions of other people's action influence what you're gonna do in this life.
Mhm.
Like, oh, all my friends are smoking, so it's not bad that I'm a
Yeah.
smoker too. And then you get sucked in into
Yeah.
this. I mean, I'm not saying it's because of my friends. I'm definitely one of the main influences of smoking in my friends group. But I would say once I started stopping now, like, or like intermittent stopping, a lot of other people also like, hey, maybe we should all do it together. And I think this gave me kind of hope for the future, that if I start to work towards
Yeah.
something I believe in, others might join in as well, and we can get there
Absolutely.
as a group. That's
That's
the
leadership. That's leadership. Huh? It's leadership.